for a new seller who wants to dabble into wholesale, can you just kind of enumerate the different types of documents that they need to be equipped with before they start contacting distributors and brands?
Yeah, so you'll need to. Well, you don't need to be, but I would highly advise you either be an S corp or an LLC at the least.
Hmm.
You want to look as a legitimate business to businesses, right? So you need to sign up for an EIN number, which is like a business social security number, and you'll also need a reseller's permit, or it might be called something else depending on the state. But I know here in
Right.
Texas, that's what we call it. So, but as far as documents, that's really all you'll need.
Right. Yeah, and then that resale license you gotta file quarterly, which I did not realize last year, and I was like late, and I was like, oh shit, dude. Um, but yeah, awesome, awesome. So when you started venturing into wholesale, what were your various types of ways and methods of finding distributors, and did one method work better than the other?
Yeah, so there's different ways, using Google, which is number one. Trying LinkedIn, trying Yellow Pages, and even driving around any industrial park business areas, which has been my most effective way of finding suppliers, is actually driving around some of the companies and seeing them in person.
Hmm. Okay. So the distributor relationships that you have right now, were they all conducted through person contact, or did you call them?
I mean, I've called all of them, but I've also told them we're here locally too, so it wasn't too hard to really open those accounts.
Okay. So can you walk me through the first one you found? Because I think the very first relationship or contract or distributor that you find is probably the most toughest one, because I'm sure after you find one, more than likely you have a relationship with them, some cachet, and maybe you can get some more products. So how were you able to find that very first one?
Uh, Google actually, I just typed in like I think it was home decor wholesaler or something like that, and I just
Uh,
like opened up a few tabs, checked some out, see if they were legitimate, and I ended up applying for an account and I filled out the form and got approved. Really,
how do you differentiate a legitimate one from something that doesn't seem legitimate?
uh, one of the first things is definitely you shouldn't be able to see their pricing online,
Okay.
because they should only be selling to businesses, not just everyday people. So that's one
Mm.
way. Another way, they should be requiring an EIN number or your reseller's permit from you as well, or both. So it just depends on the supplier on that too, though. But those are the main things you should be looking for.
Okay. And is there any kind of advice you can give when people are calling or meeting with them? Just some things that you want to approach the sales rep with before you start kind of negotiating about price.
Yeah. I mean, as far as like you mean like opening an account at least,
I
just
guess like how let's say you found a distributor with good ASINs. You don't know the price yet, so you don't know if the catalog's profitable or not. But how would you first approach a phone call or even meeting them? Like how walk me through your approach to that.
yeah. So I mean, I'll just pick up the phone and chances are you're gonna talk to a clerk or someone first. So I'll usually
Okay.
just be like, hello, may I speak to whoever's in charge of opening a wholesale account with you guys, and from there
Uh,
they'll direct you or give you even their phone numbers.
okay.
Uh, and so from there you just hit them up, call them, and be like, hey, I'm Oscar, owner of such and such company.
Mhm.
Uh, we do blank amount of revenue per year. We spend this amount. If you can mention how much you're willing to spend on inventory, that'll actually open their ears because
Right. Okay.
they'll hear all that money that you're probably gonna spend with them, maybe. So, but
Right.
after that, we'll just be like, hey, we heard that you carry such and such brands and wanted to see if we can open an account with you guys or request a catalog, right?
Mhm.
And then just go from there, and then from there they'll let you know more details. So, but just something short and simple. Don't overcomplicate it either. Don't mention Amazon if you don't have to mention Amazon or anything.
Okay. So you been turned down multiple times by mentioning Amazon, or do you just try never to mention Amazon unless they obviously might ask directly, correct?
Yeah, I mean, I don't straight up front tell them, hey, I'm an Amazon seller. You
Right.
definitely don't want to do that. I'm more approaching of like we're a distribution network, and we sell on multiple platforms. Uh,
Okay.
but yeah, I mean, if they ask about Amazon, I'll be honest about it, and
Mhm.
if they don't, then then we'll just proceed forward. Really.
Have you been turned down directly due to mentioning, well, not mentioning, but when they ask you and you reply and tell them that you're going to be selling on Amazon, is that one of the deal breakers for them?
On phone, surprisingly, not as much, but through
Oh,
email, yes.
interesting. Okay. Okay. So, when you are reaching out to a distributor like that you found, let's say you Googled and whatnot, do you always recommend picking up the phone, calling them, even if they are very responsive via email?
Yeah, I would definitely
Okay.
try to call, because they're receiving hundreds of emails every day, and chances are they're not going to see yours.
Okay. So tell the viewers like how difficult it is to find a profitable catalog, because I know it's pretty easy. I wouldn't say easy, but it's a relatively easy opening accounts, but it's the catalogs, right? That are difficult to scour and find profitable ASINs. Is that right?
Yeah, it's definitely time consuming for sure, especially if they have like thousands of products. I mean, the one account we opened a few weeks ago, they had like over 30,000 products to go through. So that was a
Okay.
huge catalog.
So I'm sure you use some sort of software and program for that aspect, right? So can you kind of go through what all softwares and whatnot that you use during your plight with wholesale?
Yeah, so if they offer like spreadsheets, Google Sheets, we'll use something like Scan Unlimited
Hmm.
to filter out some things on there.
Okay.
Uh, and we'll use Scan Unlimited just to see if we find anything that's profitable up front. So we'll put
Okay.
our criteria and to see if anything pulls up, right? So, and if it shows something, then we'll proceed manual sourcing the rest of the catalog. And if it doesn't, then we'll kind of probably just skip that supplier entirely. Uh,
Mm.
but if they don't have a catalog for its spreadsheet or Excel, then we'll just manual source the entire site.
Okay. Gotcha. Um, so you mentioned criteria, right? So what is your buying criteria with wholesale, and is it? Let's go through that first. What's your buying criteria with wholesale as of right now?
Yeah. If it's just a quick label, the velocity is good, dollar minimum, uh,
Okay.
ROI at least 15% minimum.
Okay.
But again, if it's super fast, I mean, we're okay with that. If it's like
Right.
a bundle, 2 pack, sometimes $2 to $3, it just depends. At least 20 to 25% ROI.
Okay. Um, and is there, what about like the seller's rank? Is there a minimum seller's rank that you're looking for when you look for a high velocity that determines that dollar amount profit that you're looking for?
As far as rank, I mean, as long as probably less than 10,000 at least.
Okay. Okay. Wow. So it is flying then. Huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Um, so what are three really important tasks that a new seller should focus on when they're going through the wholesale model? If you had to pin it down, the three most important tasks that they should perfect, what would those three be?
Yeah, for wholesale, definitely learn Keepa, master Keepa, like
Okay.
read
So Cuba's
Keepa
never
every
going away, pretty much.
day. Second, if you're opening wholesale accounts, focus on the relationship with your sales rep for sure. That's going to be your biggest advantage in wholesale is, getting real close with your suppliers.
Mhm.
And number three, be impatient because sourcing through those catalogs can be very time consuming. And
I bet.
if you're if you're not patient with it, you're gonna quit, like no doubt.
Yeah, if you're already getting tired of sourcing 2 hours a day for OA, it sounds like wholesale is a whole other animal when it comes to patience.
Oh yeah.